Hello everyone, welcome back to Luke's Movie Talk, where I go over some of the most recent movies I've been watching. And for this video I'll be looking at Halloween Kills, the second movie in the new Halloween trilogy that they've made. But before I start, make sure to like, subscribe to keep up to date with all future uploads. So to start off, let's get into the plot of Halloween Kills. So this film follows immediately after Halloween 2018. So basically after they've set the house on fire and trapped Michael in the basement. It pretty much starts off right from there. We have a flashback sequence showing the connection between Halloween 1978, Michael being captured, and how the sequence of events happens. So we get to see how, when Michael got shot by Dr. Loomis, he walks the streets and ends up back at his house, and ends up getting surrounded by a load of police and taken in, and that's how he ends up in the mental institution, and that's how we get the connective tissue between the stories. Tommy Doyle, the young boy from Halloween 1978, is toasting to all the original survivors and retelling the story of Michael and what happened that night. Firefighters put Laurie's house fire out, but all of them are brutally killed by Michael. So we get Michael strutting out of the burning building. He's got entry equipment, kind of like a crowbar, and basically goes around stabbing people in the face, lifting them up in the air, even takes one of the buzzsaws the firemen have to get into like difficult places and cuts their face up. It is a brutal scene and Michael holds nothing back. Laurie and her family get to hospital where she undergoes surgery, so you see her going in the flatbed truck and they're all covered in blood, and Laurie's obviously been stabbed by Michael and needs to get surgery done quickly. Michael then kills Laurie's neighbours. We get a really gruesome scene where Michael is in their bathroom pulling the husband through a glass door and spiking his neck through glass, and then grabbing a light tube and just stabbing the wife in the neck. Michael just does not give an F and will just take anyone out. And then he gets loads of knives and puts them in the back of the old man, and he's testing out which knives are the best ones to use, and he is a monster in all uncertain terms. Tommy, Marion, Lindsay and Lonnie form a mob to go after Michael after hearing of all the killing news. They see another escaped patient thinking it's Michael and chase after him. While searching, Marion and the others are killed by Michael, but Lindsay survives and is found by Tommy. So there's a group of them going around in an SUV, and Michael just appears out of nowhere and just destroys everyone. He jumps through the car window, stabs one of the other survivors, stabs one of them in the eye, is brutal, and even kicks the door to make the gun go off in the woman's face. Michael is just destroying everyone he comes across, and it's a delight for gore and horror fans. They figure out Michael's path leads to his old house. Laurie finds out Michael is still alive, and Michael arrives at his old house, killing the current occupants. So it's this gay couple that have now taken over the old Myers house, and Michael just appears out of nowhere and just destroys both of them. You don't get to see one of them, but you get to see the aftermath later on. The other escapee arrives at the hospital, but is mistaken for Michael again, and is chased around the building. Laurie tries to explain it's not Michael, but the enraged mob continues, and eventually the man jumps from a window and dies. So the mob is just gone hysterical at this point. They don't even know who Michael is or looks like. They just assume it's this person that looks a bit rough, and they basically force him to jump out the window because he's a deranged mental patient who doesn't know any better. He doesn't know how to look after himself, and they kind of force him to do this, and it's all their fault that he dies at the end. And they still continue to go on their rampage looking for Michael. They're so terrible because they don't care. They just continue their rampage of mob mentality. Lonnie, his son Cameron, and Allison arrive at Michael's home. Lonnie enters first, and after a gunshot, the others enter as well. Cameron finds his father's body and is then attacked and killed by Michael, while an injured Allison watches. So this is another gruesome moment when Michael grabs Cameron and starts bashing his head into a banister on the stairs, and walks down the stairs, looks at him, grabs his head and just twists it. It's gruesome. Michael will just do anything, and he's just like, I don't care. And he just takes out everyone with no remorse at all, and people just have to watch on because they can't do anything. Michael is about to kill Allison, but Karen, her mother, saves her and takes Michael's mask. She then leads him to the mob, and they beat, stab and shoot Michael. After a moment, Michael gets back up and kills everyone in the mob, leaving no one alive. So we get this really cool montage of like close-ups of Michael's face and blood spattering, where Michael's just destroying everyone, knives going through hands, slitting throats, and he's got a baseball bat and kills Tommy with it. And because I watched the extended version, you get an extra gruesome bit where he has a broken bat and just stabs him as well. It is gruesome. While Alison is treated, Karen goes upstairs to investigate, but is suddenly attacked and killed by Michael. So she's just looking out the window over all the carnage that's happened, and Michael just appears out of nowhere and just starts slicing and stabbing, and we get the scene of Karen just lying on the floor with the phone ringing. Laurie calls Karen, but all she hears is Michael breathing. Laurie grabs the knife that she had and goes to get Michael. So we get, because I watched the alternate ending, which is on the Blu-ray, we get to hear Laurie just hear Michael's breathing over the phone, and she knows that Karen's probably dead. And then her face just goes from sadness to enraged. She grabs the knife and just goes. And I think it's a better ending than the original theatrical cut, because the theatrical cut ended with Michael just standing looking at the window. But for this version, we get Laurie hell-bent on getting Michael. So I had a good time with this film. It's classic Halloween. It's what you want from a Michael Myers film. There's Michael hell-bent destroying everything, and gore and butchery, and everyone just underestimating Michael and just getting destroyed because of it. First off, the one thing I did love about this movie is the music. It's classic Halloween, but with an extra twist with some new updated stuff and some remixing of the old John Carpenter stuff. I think it works really well, and in the end, it's a top-notch soundtrack. Michael is as brutal and menacing as ever, especially with his now half-burnt mask. He's just going around destroying everyone and anything in his path. Literally everyone that he comes across, except maybe the two small children that he sees. He just destroys and stabs and bludgeons and beats. He just doesn't care, and he'll just take everyone out without remorse, and it's fantastic as a Halloween and Michael Myers fan. One of the highlights of this film is the violence and gore. They are top tier, especially some of the... There's an especially gruesome moment where he's gone back to his old house, and I think it's Big John and Little John, he grabs one of their heads and just absolutely destroys his face. He grabs his eyes pop out, there's blood going everywhere. It is pure gore, and it's just funny. It's just over the top gore that we love to see Michael Myers dish out to these unsuspecting citizens of Haddonfield, and it's just top tier Michael Myers violence that you love to see. Of what she's in, Jamie Lee Curtis is as great as ever as Laurie. She's unfortunately sidelined for a lot of it in the hospital, so when she is on screen, it's a joy to see, because she's the face. Apart from Michael, Laurie Strode is the face. We get some cool connective tissue flashbacks, which I liked, because obviously there's a lot of different timelines and different continuities with Halloween, so it was nice to see them create the official connective tissue between Halloween 2018 and now this one, so you get a good idea of the timeline. Unfortunately, there's some bad points to this film, which is because I liked the 2018 film. We get some really dumb and stupid decisions from a lot of the characters in the film. Unfortunately, it's very typical of a horror film to give people dumb decision making, split up into groups, just do dumb stuff, and it's kind of annoying because we know people aren't that dumb in real life, let's be honest. The other patient was clearly not Michael, and through a lot of the film, the people are just chasing after him because people say, that's Michael, but everyone that knows Michael and how tall and menacing he is would clearly know that this other patient was not Michael, and it just kept going and going, and it just ended in tragedy, and then it just kind of forgot about it as a storyline. I don't understand why people leave Michael to recover. They'll stab and beat him up and then just leave him on the floor and won't finish him off, and then he'll get back up and destroy everyone. I don't understand why they don't just finish him off properly. You would think they would at this point. There are multiple unnecessary stories of uninteresting characters. So there's this doctor and nurse couple that I didn't care about that just got dragged on. The couple of the survivors, including Tommy. It was cool to see the characters return, but I just didn't care in the end. And there's multiple other characters that it's just like, why are you even here? We want to focus on Laurie and her family and the people that we care about, not these extra people that just got added for the film. And then the last unfortunate bad point was, as I said before, Laurie is sidelined for the majority of the film because she's in hospital recovering. So that bums me, because Laurie and Michael are the two faces of the series. So to see her sidelined is always a bummer. But yeah, overall, I think because of Michael and his gory kills, it kind of saved the film in a way, because the other stories with the other patient kind of bogged it down a bit and stuff you didn't need. but I think overall this is a good sequel to the 2018. Not great, but good. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this film. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to keep up to date with all future uploads. And until next time, I will see you all later.